Hi, I'm Sarah. The reason I looked up the camera is because I was looking to see when it hit record. Anyway, I decided to start a video blog. Lots of different reasons why I started a video blog, but the primary one is just to update. I suck at keeping journals. I suck at keeping diaries. This is one of the best alternatives I've got. And since it's connected to my computer already, it'll be easy to follow up with. I live in Juneau, Alaska. Pretty interesting place. Slightly boring. Yeah, I guess that's anywhere, depending on what you like doing. I'm a poetry buff. I enjoy doing the whole coffee house poetry slam thing. I am not a hippie, just so that you know. I just enjoy poetry. I am a published poet. I published my first book in 2007. Currently not. I haven't really worked on my second edition or worked on any other stuff since, unfortunately. For as much as I wanted to, life kind of got in my way. Or became more interesting to the point where I wasn't able to do so. I am married. I got married a year ago tomorrow to my husband, Alex. Yay! I'm an extremely happy lady. My husband is great, and I'll talk about that a little bit more going on with this blog. Have a really good family, really cool family. I got more family yesterday, and I'll talk about that in this blog update as well. So we'll just fly into that. Like I said, I got married a year ago tomorrow in Hell, Michigan to my husband, Alex. We were the first couple to ever get married inside of Scream's Ice Cream in Hell, Michigan. Hell, Michigan is a hamlet near Pinckney, Michigan. If you don't know where it is, take a look. Look it up. Pretty cool. It can be found at hell2, just the letter U.com. There are pictures from our wedding up on there in their picture setting. So, you can take a look at that. God, what else? We got married there because, I originally wanted to elope. There was a place where we lived called Wedding Rock in California that I had wanted to get married at, but, I also wanted my dad to walk me up the aisle, kind of traditional. A very traditional family. That was my little payback on that one. I wanted my dad to walk me up the aisle. So we went ahead and got married in Michigan, which is where all of my family's from. Hell was our compromise. Pretty much he told me that if I was going to ask him to give me Michigan, he wanted me to give him Hell. And since giving him Hell is in the marriage contract anyway, I went ahead and went with it. What can I tell you about my husband? My husband is 11 years older than I am. We met online 12 years ago, I think, 2001. So 11 years ago, actually. Hated his guts. Absolutely hated his guts. I'll tell you the story here. He said he didn't hate me. He just found me annoying. I was 16 years old when I met my husband. He was 27. I was a typical teenager. I knew everything. I was 10 foot tall. I was bulletproof, and I was extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. I understand that now because I have cousins who are in that age range and are doing the same thing, and it's fine. We all grow out. Well, not all. Most of us grow out of it, and thankfully I did grow out of it. But for the first couple of years that I knew my husband online primarily, well, exactly online, couldn't stand it. Alex is a very arrogant person sometimes, but he's extremely smart, extremely compassionate, and it never kind of came across that way. It always came across as he was just being a know-it-all and trying to be a jerk. Took a couple years. He and I didn't start dating until 2008. Oh, excuse me. He and I started dating in March of 2009, but we had planned on meeting each other early in 2008, and it kind of just panned out from there. I flew out to California in March of 2009 to meet him for the first time. At that point, we had known each other for 8 years. And like I said, it was a long road. It was an interesting road. We had talked on the phone probably once a day, twice a day, for over a year before I met him. And it kind of just went from there. I mean, 3 days after I got there, no, the day before I came home. The day before I flew back to Michigan, he and I officially started dating, and then about a month later, he asked me to move in with him, so that was going to be a big thing, and I said yes, obviously. I moved from Michigan to Northern California to be with him in September of 2009, took 6 months, and started a life there. I loved where we lived. We lived in Humboldt County, California, and I miss it very much. I love California. For as much as I thought I was going to hate it, I miss California quite a bit. And I love Michigan too, don't get me wrong, but California is where I consider to be home. And that's been an interesting transition. So yeah, he and I dated until, God, when was it? We flew back to Michigan in May of 2010, because my dad was sick. My dad had stage 4 anaplastic thyroid cancer. Again, look it up. It's one of the worst ones you can have. Had a trach tube in place, and we weren't sure how all that was going to pan out. So we flew to Michigan in May of that year, and hung out with my family. I have a cool family. I have 2 sisters that lived with my parents at the time, my mom and my dad. My youngest sister is married, and then her 2 kids. We all met up there. My parents are now divorced. They just got divorced, I think it was earlier this year. My parents got divorced. My mom just remarried. But anyway, so at the time we were all together. And the last day we were in Michigan, which was May 19th of 2010, we're sitting around the dinner table. Now, one thing you got to know is that my family used to have these little things my mom called mini powwows, because we lived in Michigan. If we wanted to do a picnic or something, essentially it had to happen in the house. If it wasn't the summertime, it had to happen in the house. So my mom would set up blankets and forts and things in the living room, and we would have a mini powwow, is what my mom always called them, where we would just sit on the floor and enjoy each other's company, have a meal, have a good day. So we did that. We went and we bought some of my favorite pizza. It's called Anthony's in Michigan. Sorry, my earring's falling off. It's called Anthony's. It's some of the best pizza I've ever had, although my husband says it's kind of mediocre, but whatever. Went and got that. Came back to my mom and dad's. I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me to remember sometimes because I spaced when he asked me to marry him. I know he walked upstairs. I'm sitting there eating pizza with my mom and my sisters. Both my sisters were there. My niece and my nephew were in their high chairs. My dad was behind my husband, and he all of a sudden takes off to go upstairs to grab something, which was the room we were staying in at my mom and dad's. And came back down. I saw this look on my sister's face, my sister Holly's face. Something was weird, but it didn't really kick in because I didn't care. I was having fun. I heard my husband look at my dad. I heard him go, "Hey, Mike, watch this." My dad's Mike. And next thing I know, he turns and he looks at me and he goes, one of the most awesome proposals ever, by the way. Totally caught me off guard. He goes, "What did I say when I asked you to move in with me?" And I kind of looked all confused because I didn't remember at that particular moment. I'm like, "What?" He goes, "What did I ask you when I asked you to move in with me?" He had asked me to move in with him online, and the line was, and I quote, "So when are you moving in?" Which is what I told him. I'm like, "Well, so when are you moving in?" And he pulls out this box, and by the way, Fred Meyer Jewelers have really big boxes. They're not the small, tiny, little black boxes that you see all the time. They're big, like that. So he pops it open, and there's a white gold and sapphire engagement ring in there, and he goes, "So when are we getting married?" And that was it. I don't remember anything for the next couple of minutes. I swear to God, because I remember going into shock. It didn't register what he'd said right away, because I remember seeing the ring and focusing on that, and that was it. For the next couple of minutes. When I finally came to, I said the dumbest thing I probably ever said was, "Now, I guess?" And just slipped the ring on my finger. My dad asked, "Well, did she say yes?" And I'm like, "Yes, I said yes. Yes, I said yes." He shook my husband's hand, and that was it. A little over a year later, we got married. We moved to Alaska in between. We moved to Alaska in August of 2010. So, 2009 and 2010 were big transitions for me, but some of the coolest transitions. I don't know how to go about doing this. My husband and I aren't very lovey-dovey. But I tend to be very sentimental and lovey-dovey. I just keep it in under wraps with my husband a lot because I know he doesn't like it. But he is the love of my life. He's made me happier, I think, than he can ever possibly imagine he has. I told my stepdad earlier My husband saved my life in a lot of different ways. And we can talk about that more during these vlogs, but he is not the guy I saw myself with. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's an awesome thing, because the people I always wound up dating were horrible people. And Alex not gonna put a qualifier there. Alex broke my trend. Not all horrible. I'm friends with one of my exes. So if Justin sees this, if he wants to get all insulted, he can go for that, I guess. But not him. The rest of them, assholes. Alex broke that trend for me. And it's been an amazing adventure since. I might bitch occasionally. I'm human. I get lonely sometimes, but not because of him. Alex is and always will be one of the most calming influences in my life. He makes me laugh. He's extremely funny. And I enjoy him. I love him more than I thought I ever could or would. And I guess that goes along with that whole love-hate thing. There's a fine line between love and hate. We, at some point, transitioned into being able to create one of the most stable and loving relationships I've ever been in. Or ever seen, for that matter. And I'm not just bragging. I'm just saying that it's refreshing for me to be with someone who I don't have to pretend with. Or play with. Play with the different senses, but not play with emotionally, not play mind games. And he's a terrific guy, and I hope he knows it. So that's it for this time around. I spent almost 12 minutes talking about how great my husband is and how awesome my marriage is. Because that's how I feel. I'm one of the luckiest people on the planet. My family is great. My life is great. And that's it. I'm just extremely grateful for everything that's been given to me, the opportunities that have been put in my path, and how hard I've had to work. It definitely had a massively awesome payoff. So that's it for this particular update. Look for more. I'm probably going to do this about once a week. It won't always be about how great my life is. I'm sure I'm going to have this day fucking sucked at least once. But yeah, keep paying attention. I'm sure there'll be some interesting stuff in here. Have a good one.